When it comes to farmland utilization, it's essential to optimize the usage of the land that is available if you want to yield desirable results. Let's take a look at farmland utilization, how American ranchers use 778 million acres, livestock farming. Raising livestock. Today, we will embark on a journey where we will see how ranchers in America are making the most out of their 778 million acres of land for livestock farming. The livestock is raised across the 778 million acres of land, and the majority of the livestock is raised on vast grasslands, where they have access to a healthy diet that helps them reach their maximum potential. When we take a look at the livestock that is raised on the rich grasslands of America, we can see that in the last few decades, cows have been an extremely popular choice amongst ranchers, and are by far the most commonly raised livestock in the grasslands in America. However, like anywhere else in the world, their livestock is not just limited to cows. Ranchers in America, like most other ranchers, also tend to raise other farm animals, including the likes of goats, sheep, and even horses. Farms in America tend to be massive and can home up to millions of animals, and thus most of these farm animals usually end up growing around each other. The state of raising livestock in America is so massive that, according to statistics reported in mid-2022, there are about 176 million livestock that have been raised in America. Quite astonishing, isn't it? When we think about America, we normally don't tend to think of it as a country which is so focused on livestock. However, statistics state otherwise. Well, before we take a closer look at farmland utilization, how American ranchers use 778 million acres, if you like our content so far, make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification button so you can get notified every time we post a new video. Species. We've already mentioned that cows are the most frequently raised livestock animals in America. In addition to cows, cattle, sheep, goats, horses, and pigs are also very common. Out of these, cattle is the most abundant species, and according to a report, almost 53% of the species present within these farms consist of cattle. The second most common found species are pigs, and it's stated that almost 41% of the species are pigs, followed by sheep, which stand at 4%, and goats at 2%. We already know that out of the entire area that's covered by America, 788 million acres are used for livestock farming. While this number may not give you a fair idea of how massive the scale of livestock farming is in America, we're sure you'll be surprised when we tell you that this area makes up about 41.4% of the total land covered by America. Yes, you heard us right. 41.4% of America's land is used for livestock farming, which is a little less than half of all America. Cycle of life. Like any other livestock farm, the animals on these farms also tend to have babies, and their babies become a part of the livestock that's already present on the farm, multiplying the yield for the ranchers. According to an estimate, almost 1.7 million lambs are born in America on an annual basis, with 37% of the lambs being born and raised in either Texas or California. Once the babies are 2 to 4 weeks old, each lamb gets its ears tagged, so it's easier to keep count and track of them. Moreover, the tails of the lambs are also removed at the same time. This practice, while it does sound very tedious, is very common on all large-scale farms throughout America. According to statistics published in 2021, there were a total of 9,300 sheep farms located within the vicinity of America, with a total of 557,000 sheep. However, this only accounts for 11% of the sheep in the country, and you can only imagine how massive the actual number is when it comes to the total number of sheep within America. Morning routine. In order to ensure the sheep are well fed and taken care of, they have a routine that is followed daily. Right at the start of the day, the sheep are taken in herds to their pasture where they feed. The sheep frequently move from one pasture to another, and while this may sound like a hassle, this practice is essential to ensure that the grasslands are given enough time to recover and become their lush green selves again, allowing the sheep to feed on them once more. As of now, the majority of sheep in the United States are found in Texas, with the sheep farms there accounting for 17% of the sheep in the country. In order to ensure that the sheep are well fed and are not in any sort of danger, the feeding pasture process is aided by the presence of shepherd dogs. The dogs are responsible for ensuring that the sheep are kept protected and are not attacked by any wild animals like coyotes or wildcats, which could potentially attack the sheep and kill them. While we have already mentioned that Texas and California are the main grounds for raising sheep, there are other states which serve as common grounds for raising sheep, including Idaho, Colorado, and Wyoming. Goat farms. We have already taken a look at how sheep are raised in America, and have also talked a little about cows, but there's one livestock animal we haven't shed light on at all, and that's goats. So let's take a look at how goats are raised in America, and what does life look like for goats in the goat farms that are located all over the grasslands of America. According to a report published in September 2022, there are approximately 2.6 million goats in America. However, considering that this number was published more than half a year ago, we can only imagine that the number of goats in the United States has already surpassed 2.65 million. The goats within America are not equally spread out throughout the grasslands. In fact, just like sheep, the goats are also mostly concentrated in Texas and California. However, in addition to California and Texas, they are also in Tennessee and Georgia, giving the goats enough grounds to graze on and make sure that they are fed and taken care of properly. Goats stay pregnant for about 145 days and then give birth to their kids. According to a report that was published, almost 778,000 baby goats are born each year in America. And while these statistics pertain to all of America, 47% of these goats are born in Texas. 1 week after being born, the goats start weighing about 13 pounds and are then separated from their mothers every day. The baby goats are taken to a different place where they're allowed to drink as much milk as possible to ensure that their growth is not hindered and to reduce pressure on the mother goats. After 1 month, when the goats are old enough, they're allowed to go outside in the field and play around, enjoying their freedom. Once these goats hit the 18-month mark, they're considered fully mature and weigh around 110 to 115 pounds on average. Grazing farms. There are also grazing farms where the goats are brought to further accelerate their growth. Right at the start of the day, the goats are let out into the open grasslands in herds, where they're free to feed on the pasture. The goats in Texas make up for about 41% of the goat population within America, and almost 83% of these goats are raised with the intention of being consumed as meat. While the goats are free to roam around in the morning, they are then taken back to their sheds by the afternoon, where the shepherd dogs assist in ensuring that all goats return to their shed safely. The goats are then kept within the shed to ensure that they're not attacked by wild coyotes at night, or exposed to uncertain weather conditions.
Check the big goat herd, and 2 of the guardian dogs wasn't there, so there's 1 dog there. We have 3 guardian dogs.
Well, we have to admit that taking care of livestock animals is a major task, and while it may seem easy, it must be difficult to look after millions of animals running around in fields on a daily basis. Well, here's our take on how goats, sheep, and other livestock are raised in America, and mostly Texas. Let us know if you know any other interesting pointers related to livestock farming practices in America.